We were somewhere around Barstow, on the edge of the desert, when the drugs began to take hold.
You're either in or you're out. Right now.
I want to gamble.
I never want to hear those words out of your mouth again.
Gambling is not your problem.
Has anybody ever told you before your bad luck?
Most gamblers, when they go to gamble, they go to win.
Those were my mother's dying words.
When we go to gamble, we go to lose. Show me the money.
Let's get out of here, man.
Show you money.
Honestly, let's just go. Let's go to Vegas.
Look at you got it not, Jerry. I want you to say what you would mean it, brother. Show me the money!
It's the Sports Memery Vegas pregame show.
Boys, we have made it to bowl season. We are 72 hours away from the very first kickoff. And what a season. I mean, felt like there were a ton of upsets. I mean, kind of a little bit of difference. You know, we got Michigan, Georgia, Cincinnati, no Ohio State, no Clemson,
But two SEC teams, in the playoff again. I mean,
death taxes and two SEC teams in the college football playoff.
I mean, we had two ACC teams in the playoff last year, so.
Yeah. So, all right, we're going to get into the first third, guys. We're going to cover basically the next week's college bowl games. There's going to be 12 of them. There's some interesting matchups, and then we're kind of just going to cut it off in chunks from there. We're going to go this next week and then the next week, and then we'll cover the New Year's Six and the college football playoff. And we're going to treat every bowl game equal because they definitely aren't. But before we can talk forward, let's talk backwards, and let's jump all the way back. It seems like it was ages ago. Let's jump back into championship week, and let's get into what Newman and Trevor want to talk about, and that's the SEC championship.
Absolutely. Alabama goes in there and beats Georgia pretty handily. Georgia had nothing necessarily to win, according to Newman, and Alabama takes that, jumps Georgia, and is now the number one seed moving forward. Big disappointment. I was really hoping Alabama would lose this one and be left out of the college football playoff, but here we are. Fuck parody, excuse my language, but it is what it is. Hey, all my Alabama fans, I mean, congratulations to you. Now you have a ridiculous Cincinnati matchup. Congratulations. Now you're waiting yourself up for another SEC matchup here in the finals. But interesting matchup. Alabama did what they needed to do. Georgia is still a very solid team. Don't sleep on them coming forward to this. But Alabama sets himself up as the top seed and going to be the favorite all the way through.
Let's talk about that actual game for a second here, the way it played out. I thought that Alabama was going to have a hard time blocking Georgia because their offensive line had not played well throughout the course of the season, and Georgia's defensive line was really good. But they made some adjustments on that offensive line, and they were able to find a way to block them. Bryce Young played a hell of a game, and Stetson Bennett is not capable of leading a Georgia comeback, as we saw with a late pick six, and then more picks like later in the red zone. That part of me was just like, does he go to JT Daniels at any point? I'm sure everyone was asking that question, and he never did. So I don't know if JT Daniels is just not capable of playing at this point, or if Kirby just didn't have the balls to do it. I don't know.
Guys, I said on the show and said that Alabama was going to win. Why? Because Saban owns Kirby Smart, and because it didn't play out this at all. Georgia actually, I think, played out their entire playbook. I said they were going to play the game half-handed. That definitely wasn't the case at all. They left all their starters out there and played the entire game, even when the game was out of reach. I was some questionable player decisions on Georgia's part, but I don't think they wanted to roll over at that point. But yeah, I mean, the skill positions just looked better. Newman, you thought Georgia was going to win in the trenches. They looked faster on the outside. They had a better quarterback, and that ended up being a difference. Like the ability of the Alabama receivers is what stood out to me in this game.
Well, yeah, that's for sure. Definitely part of it. Georgia has not necessarily they haven't dropped the ball completely at the wide receiver position, but their best wide receiver is George Pickens. He barely played at all this year. Still wasn't completely healthy. So, getting another month off basically before they have to play again, that may help in terms of getting him ready. Their tight end had a whale of a game, but just not enough talent on the outside for Georgia. And
completely outclassed on the edge.
In order to win that game, Georgia needed to win the game in the trenches, and they did not do it.
Nope, the game was played on the perimeter. Let's move to the next game because I think it was the best game of the day. Baylor holds off number 5 Oklahoma State. I mean, that was a fantastic game.
Well, and how about the finish with the stretch at the end and getting knocked out? I personally thought that the guy should have, stuck his shoulder down and ran through the guy instead of trying to go to the outside. That would have given him a better opportunity, plus his momentum going forward. Baylor kind of had Oklahoma State's number this year, and Dave Aranda is a really good coach. So that was a really good game. And Oklahoma State probably missed their running back a little bit too much in that game to really have a chance to win it, I guess.
Yeah, no, Baylor came out to play, and I mean they were out. They knew that they weren't going to make the college football playoff, I think, regardless, and they just came out to play to win that conference title, and that's what did. I think Oklahoma State just had the monkey on their back, like, hey, if we win, we're kind of in it, and you can't have that mentality. You still need to maintain, be aggressive, and I think that last play where he just stretches out, avoids contact. I mean, he's like I swear to God, I think the guy's like 5'7", and you're trying to stretch to the end of the pylon. He missed a leg and should have got pushed off on that right leg, but he didn't. But you're right, Newman. I mean, he should have went straight in. He had the bottom leverage and went to it. But hey, I'm happy to see Baylor do what they sought out to do, and Oklahoma State just missed a golden opportunity to make the college football playoff. So best game by far of the week.
For sure.
Oklahoma State's quarterback also didn't play very well in that game. He threw how many interceptions? So
3. Yeah, it was bad. Let's jump a little bit of West Coast action. Utah State, who we'll be talking about later, beats San Diego State, who we'll be talking about later. Utah, again, just pulled it again. I mean, I thought Oregon would at least give a fight. They did. I had Utah winning, but that game just, again, kind of the Pac-12. The next game I kind of want to talk about is
it was only a 3-point game. Like Vegas expected it to be much closer than it was, but Utah was like, "Now we are significantly better than Oregon is." Right
that team just has something, man. Utah is just they're clicking at the right time.
They haven't lost a game since they changed quarterbacks. So since Cam Rising means their quarterback, they haven't lost.
Yep. So did you guys see that performance out of Michigan coming at all? I think we all had Michigan winning, but 42-3. Can Michigan give Georgia a game?
Yes. Yes. Yeah. Anything could happen. It's football. I think that Michigan is a pretty good team. I think that they would have done pretty well in the SEC this year as well. But it's just, I don't know. It's really hard to pick against Georgia in that scenario. But we'll talk about that more as it comes down the pipe. But I was pretty impressed with the way Michigan played in that game against Iowa. I thought it was going to be much closer than it was. I thought it would be a low scoring game, but Michigan just completely took them by the reins and never let them move the ball.
Yeah, no, it was just absolutely world class performance there.
All I gotta say though about the whole Michigan Georgia thing, like Georgia showed their colors against Alabama, and if Michigan can go out there and play the defense that they need to play, and if I wear the Desmond Howard jersey that I wore during that game, which they won, Michigan, yes, is absolutely guaranteed to win. So all I gotta say is I'm gonna be wearing that Desmond Howard jersey, and that is the sole basis that I'm gonna be going off of for a Michigan win against Georgia.
We shall see about
that. Let's talk real quick. 2 games. Pitt did what Pitt was going to do. I won my biggest bet of the year because Wake Forest was going the wrong direction, and we've all been Team Pitt. And then Louisiana takes care of Appalachian State. But Newman, you were right about Cincy. If I'm going to sit here and tell you guys I told you so, I gotta say it when I'm wrong. I do got to drink that tea. Cincinnati finds herself. They win in impressive fashion. Here's the floor, boys, for your Cincinnati Bearcats got in, even though I was trying to will it not to happen.
I mean, I just think that they're a really good football team. They have, first round draft pick in Sauce Gardner at corner. Desmond Ritter is a guy who's probably going to play in the NFL as at least a backup for a few years. And it's a well recruited team. It's a well coached team. They play for each other, and I mean, they actually may be a worse team than they were last year, in all honesty. But they go in. Houston actually kind of is sticking with them, and then they just turn on the gas, and Houston can't keep up.
No, that offense can go. I mean, like really go. I can't. I'm sure the over under is out already for that Alabama Cincinnati game, but it is going to be north, like real
just so
high.
everyone knows, Jerome Ford did transfer from Alabama to Cincinnati, their running back. So to say that none of their players are Alabama quality is just false.
Yeah, and Jerome Ford, just to let you know, 19 rushing TDs this season, 1,200 yards. Pretty solid season.
Missed like 4 games.
The entire Indiana team.
Yeah, no. The dude is a stud. So they do have some solid players. Do they have a full roster to even compete and cover against Alabama? I don't think
that's
so.
That's the question.
Yeah, it's a full complete roster.
We have plenty of time to talk about the playoff.
Mm-hmm.
Plenty of time.
Let's jump into kind of one take. We'll go around. Trevor, what's your take on the college football rankings?
I mean, it is what it is. I think Michigan truly deserved the number 1 spot, and Alabama should have held the number 2 spot. The biggest thing here is Michigan had a better or had a less of a worse loss. Bama lost against the Texas A&M that was unranked. Michigan's loss was to a ranked Michigan State team. So, I think the quality of losses where I think it should lie. Michigan beat a number 2 Ohio State, while Bama beat a number 1 Georgia. Very small, I think, difference in that. Michigan got hosed on the number 1 seed, but we all know that Mickey Mouse just wants this better matchup here. So whatever, get your TV ratings, get your matchup. Michigan got screwed here, but hey, we'll live with it because guess what? We all saw it happening.
Even if Michigan was number 1, then it would have been Georgia number 4. There was no way that they're going to pit Bama against Georgia right after.
That's the way it should have been. Georgia had the most recent loss. It should have been that. It should have been Michigan 1, Bama 2, Cincy stay at 3. Why did Cincy drop? Cincy only dropped because they wanted to pit them against Alabama. That was it.
TV ratings. That is what's going to happen here.
Yeah.
Anyway, all right. Well, let's jump into some coaching carousel news. There's been a little bit more updates here. So Oklahoma first is going to poach Brent Venables, their former defensive coordinator, and Clemson's now former defensive coordinator. He's going to bring in Jeff Lebby from Ole Miss to be the offensive coordinator. I think this is a pretty good hire for them in general, but I mean, moving into the SEC is going to be a tough slate. It was going to be tough for whoever the coach was. So, and then Virginia goes ahead and hires Clemson's offense coordinator in Tony Elliott. And I mean, I think that's a pretty good hire for them also. He's a guy who should be able to recruit to that spot. They've got a decent team, and their quarterback is pretty good already. And he announced that he's coming back. So I think that'll be a good hire for Virginia, at least temporarily. We'll see how long he stays, if he has aspirations, if he does well there, to move on from that. But it also says something about Clemson. So this is Dabo losing, both coordinators here. He's never had.
You will see how good Dabo can coach. I mean, we're going to find out this next coming season what kind of the real deal Dabo.
And I've been saying for a while that Dabo's not an X&O guy, so he's going to rely on his coordinators. He did promote from within to fill those spots. So I mean, yeah, Clemson may take a step back to the pack, which would be good for myself and Trevor as Florida State fans.
Speaking of hiring within, what did you guys think about the Notre Dame hire of Marcus Freeman? That was a shocking. I thought they'd go after Luke Fickell, maybe some of the guys that here we're going to talk about. I was very surprised. It seemed to be like a players-oriented hire, but I was shocked. I can't remember the last time a top 10 college football program hired from within.
It was very weird, but it was also
Oklahoma.
But different situation.
Lincoln Riley was offense coordinator that they just promoted there.
Lincoln Riley was also someone who was on the radar of a lot of other teams. Like
I hadn't heard of Marcus Freeman.
Marcus Freeman was going to get either a head coaching job at a Power 5 school very soon, or if, for instance, Cincinnati had hired or if Notre Dame had hired Luke Fickell away from Cincinnati, I think Marcus Freeman would have been the guy there, because he was the defense coordinator the year previous to them. So Marcus Freeman is known as a really good recruiter. Obviously, he is African American, so that plays a part in it. It's supposed to be player centric and all that kind of stuff. But from the perspective of Notre Dame's athletic director, you've already had a chance to evaluate this guy for a year, right? And they felt he was ready. So that is why they promoted from within. They want to kind of keep what they had going. They managed to keep their offense coordinator, Tommy Rees, by also keeping Marcus Freeman. So that continuity hire helps.
That's a good point. I think, Brandon, you mentioned like a player's hire. I think it was a coach's hire. And I mentioned this last time, and they all got the vote of confidence. Like the assistant coaches really liked keeping him there, and keeping that thing together was important, I think, to them, especially with the coaching carousel that's happening with it almost seems like it's happening every year now.
I don't think Kelly got a single assistant to go with him.
Nobody. Yeah. No, I think
we're all rooting for Brian Kelly to fail, right? We all want to see this. We wanted to see this burn pretty
He needs to fail just as bad as he failed at a Southern accent when he was at that stupid, basketball game, try to get that draw. I have a better draw, and I'm from California.
Now.
Give me a break.
Yeah.
But anyways, wait. Let me make one more comment about the coaching carousel. Miami hires Mario Cristobal at a pretty significant contract, and in that process, they decided to cut the salary of pretty much every single assistant head coach within that program, pissing off literally their coaching staff. There's a lot of ex-players that are chiming in that aren't so keen about this hire. So very interested to see what's going to happen in Miami and how the Miami AD is going to be able to kind of juggle this, as Miami's getting rich with Cristobal, but I don't know how much money they got left over for.
You guys will love to hear this. Miami's a joke. I mean, this has been an embarrassing process for them. I mean, at even like a corporate level, at a professional level, I mean, it's about every HR thing you don't do. I mean, holy cow. Yeah. I mean, they fell on their face.
Fire Manny Diaz 2 weeks ago. That's what they should have done. Don't joke around like
if
this.
If they didn't get Cristobal, they were going to keep him. That's essentially what it was. So they're like, well, we're going to keep this guy until we have our next guy in hand.
It seems very Miami of them. Just a sloppy mess. And hey, good luck, Mario Cristobal. I thought I wanted you for Florida State, but I hope you fail miserably in Miami. Good luck.
Yeah. I mean, he's a good recruiter. He definitely has some coaching issues. If you watch what he did at Oregon, he had Justin Herbert there, who looks like one of the best young quarterbacks in the NFL, and he, wasn't able to get over the hump because they handcuffed him. They wouldn't let him open it up. They wouldn't let the offense do what it needed to do in order to win games. So if you try to play like that in Miami, I mean, even if you do have a lot of talented players, you're still going to lose a lot of games. You're going to lose the games to Clemson. You're going to lose games to Florida State. You're going to lose games in, if you should make it to, the playoffs or whatever, which they still haven't done. Miami still never won the ACC. They've been in the conference since 2004. So we'll see. But
ACC loser.
Sticking in the ACC, Duke hires Mike Elko from Texas A&M. He was their defensive coordinator. This is going to hurt Texas A&M a little bit because he is a really good defensive coordinator. Previously stopped at Notre Dame and Wake Forest, among others. I think that's an interesting hire for Duke. We'll see how it plays out. And then Oregon, to backfill the shoes of Mario Cristobal, hires Dan Lanning, the defense coordinator from Georgia. So a lot of defense coordinators proving their might and getting some big time jobs in the last couple of years here.
Yep. All right, guys. We got about 10 minutes left in the show. We got about 12 games. You guys ready to pick them?
Absolutely. I don't have any idea about half of these games, but I'm absolutely ready to take some.
Exactly. Let's start in a place that I wish I was right now, the Bahamas Bowl. We got the Middle Tennessee fighting Murfreesboro. I have no idea what their mascot is, against the Toledo Rockets. The MAC team is a double-digit favorite. And we're all on Toledo. Newman, why are we all on Toledo?
Because they're a better team. They have tougher competition. And I mean, yeah, I just trust them a lot more than I do.
If you want to look for a next running back,
I believe Middle Tennessee's quarterback at one point this year was this guy by the name of Bailey Hockman, who Trevor knows very well. So if that was a starting quarterback for you, then Toledo's going to
wait. Their quarterback's Bailey Hockman?
Not anymore, but at one point I believe he was.
Oh, well, if Bailey Hockman was even there for a moment, you are definitely taking Toledo here, because if that's Middle Tennessee's decisions on the talent that they're going to take, you should feel very confident with whatever the opposite team is going up against. So give me Toledo all day. And I'm just looking at like top performers in this group. Everything is showing up as a Toledo player. I don't see one Middle Tennessee player that's showing up as a top performer like in stats here. So give me Toledo all day, because I've actually heard of them and I actually kind of know some of their players. So yes,
they got a stud running back. A guy's averaging over 150 yards a game, and he doesn't have a Jerome Ford amount of touchdowns, but he has 9 touchdowns on the year. They got a stud running back, and in these games, honestly, talent's what wins out. Let's move to another the Tail Greeter Cure Bowl. I don't know what a tail greeter is, but we're gonna pick it.
I just thought that name was super funny though.
It's something.
Yeah, I mean, I think we're all on. No, Trevor is taking NIU.
I'm taking NIU.
Pump the brakes.
I'm sorry,
Newman.
you're taking NIU, and then Trevor and I are on Coastal. Coastal's got a really good offense. They've got really good players. They had, they were undefeated at one point during the season, into the top 25. Northern Illinois was a bad team. They did outperform their expectations, but I'm on Coastal here. I just think that their offense is going to be something different Northern Illinois has never seen, and that's going to give them problems, and they like to score a lot of points. So
I love the MAC, and this is a backdoor cover. Let's move on to the roofclaim.com Boca Raton Bowl. Western Kentucky versus App State. Kind of two of my funnest little mid-majors. I love both of these teams. Just real quick, IU had a chance to play Western Kentucky. They play an insanely fast-paced. Like, they snap the ball at an insane rate, and they throw it around West Coast style. Like, they never throw the ball more than 7 yards down the field. It's snap the ball, throw. And that's just really hard to plan for, right? So give me Western Kentucky to pull the upset off here. This is my kind of upset special, is Bailey Zappi and the
Bailey Zappi.
Yeah. Bailey Zappi has put up some major numbers, but
he's playing in Canadian football. He will be a Canadian football MVP.
He led the country in passing. So
no. XFL, baby. XFL. It's coming back. That's where you'll see him. But no, App State's going to take this. App State's going to play like they're playing Michigan, and they're going to take it all the way. I don't even know what that Western Kentucky mascot is, but he's going to get stomped by whatever App State's mascot is.
Don't Google it. It's hideous. It's called a Hilltopper, and it is
the Hilltoppers versus the Mountaineers. There
sounds like the hills have eyes. Like, it doesn't sound good.
It is Western Kentucky, Trevor. It is Western.
I'm taking Western Kentucky plus the points, and I wouldn't be scared to flirt with the over on this one.
Oh, for sure. All right, let's jump to the New Mexico Bowl. Whatever a PUBG Mobile. PUBG Mobile. We got Utep versus Fresno State. I don't know much about these teams. All I know is Fresno State's won me money, so let's go Fresno State.
So Fresno State likely to be out. Obviously, they lost their head coach, Kalen DeBauer, to Washington. And then they're also losing their starting quarterback, Jake Hayner, who was a transfer in from Washington, who is very likely to transfer back to Washington now that his coach is there again. So they're going to be without the two of them for this game. And because of that, I am on UTEP getting the points.
I had no idea.
Also, Michael Penix is transferring to Washington to follow Kalen DeBauer, who was his kind of guru. So
it's a good move for him.
Washington's starting quarterback will be Michael Penix next year. I'll be watching a lot of Pac-12 after dark. All right, let's move to Trevor's favorite team, the Fighting Mormons, playing UAB in the Independence Bowl. Do you have BYU in this, Trev?
Absolutely.
I knew you did.
No doubt. Gotta love them Mormons, and they've won me some money this year. So ride that hot horse as you do, Brandon Brister, all the time. So don't ever bet against your headliner. Go BYU, baby.
Yeah, so I'm going to take UAB here with the points.
Of course you would. Of course you would.
UAB is
We're
an underrated
against each
team.
other a lot here, and I like it. I feel like it's
Yeah.
Trevor and I versus you on a lot of these, and you've done way more research. So
Yeah, UAB is a pretty good football team. They're underrated here. So while they may not win this game, because I do think BYU is pretty good, they do have a chance to cover,
BYU's
and
a
that's
hot
what I'm taking them to
team.
do.
BYU's hot.
Hi, Sasha.
yeah, my wife just made a quick sneak peek into the podcast. I don't think she knew we were doing video. I normally do only audio in this room, but
BYU's hot, but not a Sasha. What?
let's go to the Lending Tree Bowl. We got another Maction Flair versus Malik Willis and Liberty. Do you think Liberty wins by double digits, Newman?
I mean, I picked it, so we're all on the Flames here, minus the 9.5. I don't know much about Eastern Michigan, but I know that Hugh Freeze and Liberty can put up some points, and
Malik
they do
Willis,
have the better
baby.
quarterback.
Malik Willis. That's who's going to win this game.
He is going to run for over 100 yards. Eastern Michigan actually has a pretty good offense, but their defense is terrible. They give up over 200 yards on the ground. Liberty is going to run.
Liberty can run the ball, so yeah.
Liberty runs the ball really well. This will be like a 20-plus point game. This will be bad.
Malik Willis is looking to solidify and get some good tape on him jumping into the first round and being selected.
Not going to happen, Trevor.
It's a possibility.
Let's move on.
Moving to the first ever Jimmy Kimmel LA Bowl. We got two West Coast teams, Utah State versus Oregon State. And I'm actually on the same side of Newman. I don't know if that's good or bad, but Trev, why are you taking Oregon State?
No particular reason other than I just wanted to bet against you. I always have at least one or two of these each week, and I saw your pick, and I was like, you know what? This is the one that I'm going to go
Normally
with.
Pays off fading me. It really, really does.
Yeah.
Newman, why am I right on this one?
I don't know that you are. I actually was very much so. I was very much so considering Oregon State here, but I just can't really figure out. I don't know. I like Utah State's offense too much. I think they have a chance to backdoor it at minimum. So
-7's a bad line. -7 is also a bad line. I will have to say that.
Let's go to Trevor and I's favorite Southern team in the R+L Carriers New Orleans Bowl. The Ragin' Cajuns, who basically get a home game, are playing Marshall. The Ragin' Cajuns are the favorite. Newman, are you taking Marshall to win or cover?
I think Marshall can win this game outright. Also, Louisiana loses head coach Billy Napier. They do promote from within. Their offense coordinator is going to take over there. But, Louisiana is a good team, but they're not that good. And I think Marshall's a little underrated here. So I'm on Marshall. They have a chance to win this game outright, but I will take the points.
I got one little stat. I got one little nugget when I looked this up. Louisiana was bad against the spread this year. They were only 5-7 against the spread. But all 12 of those games, they were double-digit favorites. The only game they were a single-digit favorite, like they are today, they cleared pretty easily. So
in a -5, which is a line that I love to take on that. So give me Louisiana. Napier is gone. Yes, it's a well-coached team, and over the last 5 years, Louisiana has done much better against.
They returned like 22 kids, Trevor. This is a team of super seniors, and they still were a little bit disappointing for what their expectations were on the year.
And these seniors have nothing else to play for. They're not going to the NFL. They are going to play for their last game and play hard as shit, especially because their coach is gone. So give me those Cajuns.
I love them. All right, let's go to Dirty Myrtle next, where we got the Monarchs playing Tulsa. Tulsa being a 9.5-point favorite. I'm the only one on ODU. Why am I dumb, Newman? Why is this stupid on my part?
I actually kind of like ODU, but this is a team that. One, they did not play football last year, so I feel like the wear and tear of the season probably is gonna take them down here. And then Tulsa just plays much better competition in general, so that is why they're a big favorite in this game, and I do expect that to play out.
Yeah, this is my second backdoor cover. Old Dominion can really run the ball. Trevor mentioned he hates 7-point lines. I hate 7.5. I think this is a 14-point game, and then ODU gets it close and covers. But I do like Tulsa to win. They're a fun offense. Tulsa can score points.
I like watching them play.
Let's go to the famous Idaho Potato Bowl, which is arguably my favorite bowl. Like, that's just the famous Idaho Potato Bowl.
Coming from a former potato slinger, I would expect that.
Exactly. You know I love my taters. And we got two teams I haven't watched a single game of. Kent State at Wyoming. We're all on Wyoming. Newman, why are Trevor and I making a good pick here?
I mean, Kent State actually had a pretty good year for them, but they are not necessarily this quality. And I don't know. The numbers just came out with Wyoming, so that's what I'm taking here.
There we go. I got a fun little stat here. Wyoming as a favorite is 1-5 against the spread. That's very, very bad. They are a favorite. Kent State is 0-5 as an underdog, which is very, very bad. So this game's about as close to a pick'em as possible. Somebody has to win. Give me Wyoming because of Josh Allen.
And give me Wyoming because also they're a way better mascot. Way better. I don't even know what that bird is at Kent State. Cowboy. It's like a roadrunner.
All right, the Tropical Smoothie Cafe Frisco Bowl. That's a mouthful.
Speaking of Roadrunners.
Yeah, we got the Roadrunners playing the Fighting Jimmy Butlers here. But the Roadrunners are the favorite, despite not being the unranked team. I'm on the Roadrunners. You guys are on San Diego State. Why is that?
Because it's ha. Kawhi Leonard's team is going to take out this. Has nothing to do with football, but Kawhi and his old team and San Diego State's going to take it. Plus, San Diego State has been a team I've been going on all year. So why stop now? Might as well take it.
See,
yeah,
Fresno State has been my West Coast team. San Diego State has been your West Coast team. Sorry, Newman.
San Diego State's got a really good defense, and UTSA wants to run the ball. That San Diego State's going to be able to make that hard. They're kind of like an Iowa in that conference. And for that reason, I do not expect UTSA to be able to put up many points on them. And
I didn't know a West Coast team could be boring, but if they're the West Coast Iowa, then snooze festival.
So let me put it this way. Their best player is Matt Ariza, who is their punter, who is, led the entire country in punting.
Yikes. All right, let's finish it up strong in the Lockheed Martin Armed Forces Bowl. Missouri versus Army. We're all on Army. No, wait. We got a last minute change. We have Trevor going to the SEC because he's from the South. Wait, he's from California. Why are you taking Missouri?
Because, did they beat Florida? So I'm just giving them this one because they beat my rival team. And I don't know, I can't trust the Army to do anything nowadays, regardless of how you take that or not. Give me Mizzou and an SEC team over an Army team that just...
Derek Black's going to fight you.
And I'm also happy with that, too. I will run.
Yeah, so I'm on Army because Missouri can't stop the run.
229 yards a game Missouri allows. Can you imagine what that triple option is going to do? It is going to get ugly in the Armed Forces Bowl. Guys, there's going to be a lot of fun games. There's no reason to really watch these games unless you're betting on them. Follow us.
If you work from home like me, I'm having that game on in the background. I'm sorry. All the day games, they're going to be on TV.
Awesome, guys. Well, again, we're going to be covering these week by week. We got you guys. We've been about 500 bettors. Me a little less, Newman a little bit more. But again, if you're a 500 bettor, you've likely won some games this year. So follow us, check in. If not, just listen to us because we're fun to listen to. And we'll be back here next week. Newman, Trev, take it easy.
We're also going to have some basketball content for you guys. So look out for that on the weekend. Some more gambling advice. We'll see you.
Can't wait.
All right.